But they were very good last night, though, Chelsea. On some more positive news, LB, I know you've been very critical, as have I, this season of Chelsea, but they were fantastic last night, especially Cole Palmer.
Yeah, they did play against Everton, and I thought Everton played a weird way. A bit too open for my liking. I would have been a lot more defensive, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Cole Palmer stepping up again. He's a great player. I didn't want to sell him at the time. Said we should have kept him, but we got the 40 mil, moved it on, and he is their shining light at the moment. He is their shining light. He's got a lot of penalties. A lot of people are saying he's Cole Penmer in it, but he's doing a lot other than the penalties. You know what I mean? Scoring goals, creating. He looks good on the football pitch. The way he moves with the ball, the way he passes the ball, and that. So. Yeah, listen, things are looking slightly better for Chelsea. Not that they could get much worse, if we're being honest with you. If they can now maybe finish, if they could finish in the top 7, considering the season that they've had, that's the bare minimum, to be honest. That's still not acceptable. No one should be sitting there saying, yeah, nice, we finished 7th. It's still an absolute disgrace that Chelsea have finished 7th when they spent the amount of money that they have. But if they can finish 7th, and then next season, they have to seriously look at kicking on. A 7th is still embarrassing, but it's just not a complete embarrassment. It's a moderate embarrassment, I would say. But what people want, they spent £1 billion. They should be finishing in the top 4. They should be challenging for the league. And if they manage to finish 7th, great. Based on where you were earlier in the season when you was like 12th or something, but it's still shockingly bad. But credit where credit's due. They're looking a bit better at the moment. Unbeaten in the last 5. So, yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, listen, Palmer's class, man. Absolute quality player. Top, absolute baller. And quite surprised with this one because when Man City sell players under Pep anyway, you think, yeah, you can understand why. Do you know what I mean? Zinchenko and Jesus went. They got the upgrades. They ain't been missed. Sterling, likewise, he'd gone. But this one, when you sell him for 40 and you spend another, 20 odd million on Doku, I know who I'd rather have. That's for sure. This Palmer guy is cold, man. Absolutely superb. Top player. And for me, he's been one of the best players of this season. And if you can do that in a Chelsea side, which is absolutely on its arse, then fair play to him, man, because he's carrying that team at the moment. He's been ridiculously good, man. Ridiculously good. I like everything about him. I know some people are saying that, he's better than this player, better than that player. Everyone says everyone's better than Saka, so I've just kind of got bored of that one now. Everyone's better than Saka. But when you look at it, this player is an absolute baller, man. He's so good. So, yeah, I can see why he's getting the plaudits, and it's well-deserved. I thought yesterday he was sensational. I thought Everton were a shambles, if I'm honest. Quite embarrassing. It's time for them to go down, I think, now, if I'm honest. It's time for Everton just to go. Like, they're just a mess. Absolute mess. But, yeah, he deserves the credit. He's been fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic. And the rest of their team, LB says it would be a shambles. I look at the team. I don't think it's that great. I still don't look at that team. I think it's that great, really. So 7th, like LB says, I agree with him. It's probably the best they could hope for. They don't look good enough.
Is that Tottenham team much better than them, though, bro?
Probably not far off, I don't think. But I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, isn't it? Like, why can't Chelsea be competing with Tottenham then for top 4? I mean, Postecoglou's first season.
It probably is, though, isn't it? I think it probably is better in it. Spurs team. Do you not think?
I don't think it's miles better. No, and I think I'd argue that maybe Chelsea have got a deeper squad as well.
I think their back 4. Their back 5 is better. I think Spurs. I don't like Spurs either, to be fair, but I think they've got a back 5 that's pretty good. I think their midfield, when it's fit, is probably better and more balanced. They've got creativity in Maddison. I don't see that with Chelsea in their midfield. And then the front 3 is debatable. Son's better. But obviously Palmer, you would say, is better. But it's not much up top that Spurs or Chelsea have got, really. So you're probably right there. But I think Spurs' first 11 is better than Chelsea's, yeah, if I'm honest.
I don't know if I don't know if it's like that much better. If you want to say it's better, you can do. I don't think it's that much better.
No, I don't either.
Top 4, and it's his first season.
Tottenham's really interesting because we asked some of their fans. We have Kate and a few others, really level-headed. So many Spurs fans that I've seen on other platforms, some that come on ours. They talk about how let's talk about Vicario, top class to world class, Porro, top class, Romero, top class, Mickey van der Ven, they say top 5. We had one Spurs fan and a few in the comments agreed that Udogie is second best left back in the world, right? So they say this. They also praise their system and manager, but they've conceded 49 goals. I think Spurs fans got to have a wake up and realize they play a really exciting brand of football, but just because you play exciting football doesn't mean you have a brilliant team or brilliant players per se, if that makes sense. It's very to concede 49 goals, which is more than Man United, who have conceded more shots on goal than any other team in the Premier League this season, I believe. It's awful. It's awful. You know, it really isn't good. Chelsea's situation is experience, in my opinion. You throw 2 or 3 players into their team next season that are 25, 26, 27 years of age, you'll see a very different team. On Palmer, as you mentioned, though, he's just... I know a lot of City fans went to Twitter last night and said, no one start the narrative that we're going to regret getting rid of him. Maybe you won't, especially if you win all the trophies again this year. But I do look at it and think, it's a hard one as well because of where his best position is. You've got Phil Foden, etc., especially in that 10 role. And maybe that was part of the thinking. But either way, for 40, you probably should have charged a bit more than £40 million for him with how good he's been for Chelsea. But of course, it's created a lot of debates in the last 24 hours and a question that I've seen everybody answering on socials. So I wanted to pose it to you two on the show today. And I want to go to LB first, right? If you've got to start, bench, or sell Foden, Palmer, Saka, in what order are you doing that, Dan? Sorry, LB first of all.
Me, okay.
Foden's first. Foden plays. He's the best player. Right now, I just have Saka, but Cole Palmer is a better player than Saka. He's a better football player than Saka. Who would I have right now? I'd go Saka because he's done it over a longer period of time. And I think it would be unfair to throw Palmer in when he's had, 6 months, 7 months of... And he's at Chelsea, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, he's got the free role. So I'm going to go Foden, Saka, Palmer. But within another year, within 18 months, I think Palmer could overtake Saka. Palmer's a better football player than Saka. I don't think there's any doubt about that. In terms of actual football ability, I think he's a better football player than Saka. But right now, I give credit to Saka. He's done it over 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. I think it's a little harsh to throw Palmer in, but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What about you, Dan? Because I've seen a lot of people that a year ago, Saka was the guy that everyone went, do you know what? Even though it's Arsenal, he's brilliant. Now suddenly it's throw him out the window. Palmer's clear, Foden's clear, everyone's clear. How would you do it in terms of start, bench, sell?
So I'll go the same as LB, Foden, Saka, Palmer. I think for me, Palmer looks unbelievable. He's just come onto the scene. Saka is clearly the benchmark. I don't know why he is, because he hasn't won anything, but he is, because that's who everyone compares him to. So Kudus is better than Saka. Palmer is better than Saka. Foden is better than Saka. That's a bizarre one to me because they don't even play in the same bloody position. But Foden gets mentioned in there. It's not Foden's better than Bellingham. Why don't they have a discussion about that? But they don't. They don't want to. They want to talk about Saka again. So it's a strange one. I don't really get it. I think Saka's quality, but I'm going to say that because he's my boy. I don't think at times this season he's had the best of seasons, but he's still putting in the goal. He's still got 14 goals. He got 15 goals last season. He's already on 14. We've got 6 games left. So he's scoring and he's assisting. But in some of the games, he hasn't turned up. In some of the games, he's not looked great. But I dare say that Foden and Palmer haven't looked great in some games as well. But nobody really mentions that. But I think they've got... Well, listen, it's good for England. That's what I will say. Absolutely good, brilliant for England. All 3 of them. And Bellingham and Rice. Is Palmer better than Saka? That's a question that a lot of people have asked. Don and a few of the others have said it. I don't know. It's the obvious.
I think he's a better football player than Saka. I think he's a better footballer than Saka.
A lot of people say, well, I say a lot of people. A couple of people have said to me that he is. I haven't seen enough of him yet, to be fair. You have, LB, because he was at City. I haven't. I haven't seen enough to say he's better than Saka yet.
When you say better footballer,
Yeah,
do you mean,
and that's what I want to ask is what is he
yeah,
better at?
what does that mean? What does that mean to you, like LB? What does that mean?
I just think he's a better foot. I just think he's a better player.
At what?
Pretty much everything. I don't know what Saka has
Yeah,
got.
but what though? Like, what attributes?
No, everything. I don't see. I've struggled to think what Saka does better than Palmer. What I am saying is Saka's done it for longer. That's why I've got him second and Palmer third. But that's why I said in 12 months, 18 months time, I think Palmer will be ahead of where Saka is. And I think in 18 months time, Palmer will probably have that right wing position for England over Saka. It's only a prediction. It could be wrong, but that's what I think. I think Palmer is a better player than Saka.
What the hell did you get rid of him for? Jesus.
I didn't want to get rid of him. I thought it was a mistake. I don't think we should have got
He's
rid
going
of
to
him.
be better than Saka. Pep's dropped the ball there, isn't he? Jesus.
Well,
That's a shock.
potentially, yeah. I mean, listen.
For Doku.
Well,
What
I
a
kind of
that
know what happened. I have a theory of what happened. That Cole Palmer was told that when Mahrez was leaving, this is facts, by the way. He was told that when Mahrez left, you'd be next in line, right? Then we were linked and we was doing the deal for Doku. Now, when we were doing the deal for Doku, and he was at his previous club, Stade Rennes, I believe it was, he used to play right wing. So clearly, I think Cole Palmer got spooked. He's seen Doku coming in and say, hang on a minute, you told me I was next in line after Mahrez. Now you're signing Doku as a right winger. So he then said to the football club, I want to go out on loan. I don't want to stay. I want to have some minutes, which is a reasonable request. City said, you're not being loaned. Like, not loaning you. You're too good to be loaned. You either stay or you'll be sold. We signed Doku. We get a £40 million bid for Chelsea. City go £40 million bid for Cole Palmer, who's not really played that much. Straight profit as well for the FFP, for the accountants who love that. We'll sell him. Doku's not really played on the right, though. Cole Palmer would have played a lot of football for us this year.
Yeah.
Would have played as much as he would have done for Chelsea, of course, and he wouldn't have had the free roll. He wouldn't have scored as many goals. He wouldn't have had the penalties. He wouldn't have had the free roll. He wouldn't have looked as good, but he would have had a lot of minutes out on that right-hand side. He only played 9 minutes last year on the right. 9 minutes, according to Transfermarkt. Every time he played left wing, and I know he can't play left wing. So, yeah, we probably did make a mistake, but is it a major error? Like, I don't think it is. I've done a videos going up later. I discussed this. Like, I don't think it's a major error that we've made. Like, at the end of the day, we didn't sell him for peanuts. We sold him for 40 million quid. Do you know what I mean? It's a good profit for the football club. But I don't think we should have sold him. I think we should have kept him, personally.
Do you know, I think you should have kept him. I agree. The whole better than Saka thing's interesting. I think he's had a better season than Saka as an individual. Totally put my hands up to that. And that's not just eye test. That's backed up when you do. I did a statistical breakdown before the show. And in most areas, Cole Palmer's ahead of him. Shooting accuracy, shots on target. He scored 6 winning goals to Saka's 4. Saka has more away goals. Palmer has much more home goals, 15 versus 6. He scored 6 more goals in totality. Both scored quite a lot of penalty goals, 9 and 11 respectively. Saka has more on his right foot. Foden has a lot more on his left foot. Conversion rates with Palmer at 33% versus 25%. Assists with Palmer by 1, 9 versus 8. Chance creation goes to Saka. Pass accuracy goes to Saka. Take on success goes to Palmer by 3%. And then ground duel success goes to Saka. The things he's better than him in, most of it's quite marginal, if that makes sense. But I would say overall, he's had a better season. If you look at it statistically, if you look at it with the eye test, the reason why I still have Saka ahead of him, I do agree with you, is Saka's been performing at a very high level for 3 or 4 seasons, and this is Palmer's first year. The reason why I can't put Palmer above him overall is we could all look at it from theory and say, I don't see Palmer regressing. I don't see anybody working Palmer out. I don't see anybody making Palmer go backwards. When he starts getting doubled up on, when teams start to maybe man mark him or try and figure out his weaknesses, I think he'll persevere through it. That's an opinion. When it comes to the Sakas and the Phil Fodens, because we've seen them do it regularly, we know they can do it. Even Saka's even delivering good outputs. You know, he's won 4 games for Arsenal this year in a terrible season, as an example. You know he can deliver even during adversity, but we also know Saka can be even better than this. So I would still have Saka over Palmer at this point. But what I do find interesting, I know he's played quite a bit on the right, is that Cole Palmer, and a lot of Chelsea fans say actually he's more of a 10. So if he becomes a 10 on a regular basis, he's really got to be compared against Bellingham's and Foden's and Madison's, and he's probably more comparable to Odegaard I know Odegaard don't quite play a 10, but he plays attack in midfield than he is a Saka if he stops playing on the right-hand side. But I do feel there's been quite a lot of revisionism when it comes to Saka recently, especially in a week where Arsenal don't beat Bayern Munich and there's that penalty incident and then they lose to Aston Villa. It's very convenient then to kind of throw Saka under the bus and I think take away such quality that he has demonstrated. By the way, for like this kid was performing well. By the way, a much younger age than Palmer. Palmer's 21 right now. He's not an 18-year-old that's come through. Saka was delivering in a very dysfunctional Arsenal team as an 18-year-old. So I don't think that should be just taken away from him because he's having, by his standards, not a particularly good year. But it's still a year where he's outstripping in terms of performances, outputs, and delivery for his club most players in his position in the league. So I think that just demonstrates his quality for me. But I'm not going to play down Cole Palmer. I'm not going to play down Foden. I don't do those games. I think all three of them are sensational. And the great thing is they're all English. So they're all playing for my country, which I think is amazing. And the biggest conversation when it comes to England, people say Palmer's got to be in there. Who should drop out? It's obvious to me who should drop out. And it's James Maddison that should be out. It's not, people keep comparing him against Saka and this guy. That's the person who started the season well and then has absolutely fallen away. Yeah,
and I don't think Southgate's a massive fan of Maddison anyway, innit? Because he took him a while to put him in. I just add one quick point to what you were saying there, Terry. Yeah, and the other reason that I don't think you can put Saka above Palmer yet, is Saka's doing it under pressure. Saka's got to go out there and deliver week in, week out, because if he doesn't deliver, he'll get cooked off the fan base because they're trying to win a title. Palmer, right now, is playing for a Chelsea team. It's like going out and playing on the park with your mates. Like, there's no pressure. Like, there's pressure in terms of, like, not being bad. But, like, there's no pressure in, like, they're not going for any titles. You know what I mean? They're not trying to win the Premier League. So, when they go out there, if he drops a stinker, it's like, oh, don't worry. Fucking don't matter anyway. If Saka drops a stinker, or Foden drops a stinker, or Bellingham drops a stinker, it's like, that's bad, man. Like, we need you to do well because we're trying to win stuff. So that's another reason why you can't put.
Yeah, Palmer, I agree, and I think Palmer's great. But we all remember that brilliant year 10 years ago that Aaron Ramsey had. He had that 1 year where you were like, "Oh my god!" Never at that point. And I'm not saying that will be Cole Palmer, but when it's one season, you never know what's coming the next year. And sometimes it might just be a coach realizes, you know what, if you do X, Y, and Z to him, you nullify his game. I look at Mason Mount in that way. Mason Mount, when he first came into the Chelsea team, was looking dangerous because people were struggling to pick him up in the pockets, and he found a lot of spaces in between the lines. As soon as teams worked out how to nullify him, doesn't have enough speed, doesn't have enough skill to do anything. He's become a far less effective player. Now, Cole Palmer's better technically on the ball than Mason Mount. I understand that. But this is what tacticians will do. They'll look at it and go, how do we stop him? Then if he perseveres through that, he becomes an even better player. As you say, the pressure that can then... Next season, there's pressure you've got to do it again now, Cole. Having that expectation on your shoulders is different. So, yeah, I don't want to disrespect players that have done it for multiple seasons against one season straight away. And that's someone, by the way, who rates Cole Palmer highly. And also Chelsea fans, you don't want to put him on that pedestal either, because then he becomes the guy that everybody wants to shoot down. So I would say keep your powder dry on this one. But if he keeps doing this for the next few years... He'll be one of the best. I mean, he already is one of the best players this season in the Premier League. But he'll be one of the best without a shadow of a doubt. He's out of this world.